Hi everyone. So yeah, pricing, big topic. We got an hour. I've definitively never done a talk about pricing, so I hope that's gonna go well, and time management. Given that I'm not quite sure how long it's gonna take, we're gonna keep probably the question at the end. I'll try to make that a bit interactive in the middle, but probably best if we keep if you have some big question or any particular things you want to talk about your own startup. Okay, let's get started. So as Chris mentioned, this presentation from me will have a bit of a bias because I built two B2B SaaS company. So that's talk is mostly about B2B SaaS pricing, and all the unit economics are related to that. If you're selling, if you have a marketplace for underwears for grannies, that's probably not the right pricing strategy for you. That's what you do? You're thinking about doing that? I can try them if you want. But, so that's what we're gonna try to cover today. So very quick basic introduction about the four types of pricing to cover the basic. And then we're going to talk about pricing optics. Pricing optics is fun. It's a light way to start this talk. It's all the tricks you can do to increase your conversion, things like that. Implementation, which is definitely not the fun part. Optic is, implementation is not. Onboarding is a massive subject on its own. So I'm just going to try to talk about how onboarding and pricing strategy can or should work together, or the consideration that your pricing might have on your onboarding. Sensitivity and elasticity, or how much more juice you can get from your lemons, basically. Unit economics, so that will be a bit more of a deep dive, a bit more technical, numbers, data-driven conversation. Good old cash flow, because I guess you have to talk about cash flow when you talk about pricing. And then bit of a thought about my learning from doing these two companies about how pricing can really help you to build a very solid growth engine. So we're going from light to a bit more in-depth conversation. Type of pricing. So there's four well documented. I didn't invent anything. You can find a lot of source. I got some sources for you at the end where you can go and look for more information. But there's four types of prices you can think of when you think about B2B: value-based, competitor-based, cost-plus, and dynamic pricing. The value-based pricing is well known to be, through all the researches that I found over the years, is well known to be the most powerful one, where you can get more revenue, basically. It's also one of the hardest to do up front because it's the most challenging one to understand. So it's based on really understanding your customer's problem and what value and how do they see the value and how much are they willing to pay for that value. So that's what we're going to cover in the next 10-15 minutes. Competitor-based pricing is often a bad one. If you look at your competitor, you have two ways to go about it. You can try to be more expensive because you think your product is premium, or you want to get their customers and you might try to go lower and cheaper. And usually, one of my mentors, when I started ResD, we had a competitor, and my natural reflex was, let's be 10% cheaper. And my mentor said a war on price is a war to the bottom, is a race to the bottom. So definitely, if you can be more expensive than your competitor, and you need to understand how you can get there. If you want to go about competitor base, because they are the big leader in the industry and everybody knows them, and you don't need to educate the market is already mature. You want to get market share. That could be an option, but it's a lot better to be the most expensive one for the good reason, or find some feature that works better for a sub-market, a niche, and go after them at a higher price because you can reinvest in R&D, etc., etc. Cost plus. So for B2B SaaS, it's definitely not recommended. The cost usually, your AWS servers and things like that. So yeah, you want to be mindful of your margin. B2B SaaS, say 85%, 80+% margin is a healthy business. So if something costs you $2, you probably want to sell it for 10. And that's an easy number to get on the back of your mind, but it's a very big shortcut if you want to build that as a pricing strategy. And dynamic is a massive Pandora box. That's extremely hard to implement. So dynamic pricing is about tailoring the price per customer, basically, or per sub-segment of customer, and it's really hard to implement. It requires a lot of conversation. It works probably well if you're an enterprise customer and you're charging $100K per year to each customer. Then you can have a conversation. You have a sales team, implementation team, and so on. If you are selling a B2B SaaS for $50 a month, dynamic pricing became a very, very hard to implement. The cost of acquisition will just be too high, basically. So yeah, that's the most recommended pricing type of pricing will be value-based, and value means research, and that's why it's hard. It does take some work to understand the value pricing. Research means to investigate and means to have a system in place, right? Why is that relevant? Because as a founder, if you're still in the early stage, you probably left your well-paid job or not yet, but you have this vision of the world, that the world should be different, that there should be a solution out there that does that better, and you know what it is in the back of your head. So you have a massive bias, actually. And research, if you do a proper research, you should be able to remove yourself from the research and have somebody else doing the same research and find the same outcome. That will prove that it's a good research. So the bias that we have as founder is, I'll talk to it, sorry, this slide. Yeah, the bias that we have as founder is a superpower, but it's also very dangerous. So you probably, you heard all the VCs are saying that the ideal founder is someone from the industry, from within the industry, et cetera, et cetera. That's for that reason. It's because we have an idea that other people, or we can see things that other people can't. We've experienced the problem and we got into building a business to try to solve it. But that creates a lot of bias because you have seen this problem in your previous work or in a certain situation. It doesn't mean this is the same perception for everyone in the industry. So identifying the problem, which is a critical step in finding the value and therefore the pricing strategy for the value, it's a first step. A very big red flag I've seen often talking to early stage founder is the per seats. Your CRM is charging per seat. I'm going to have users, they're going to have login, I'm going to log into my platform. Why would I not charge per seat? It seems very obvious, but most of the time, if you do that, it's because you haven't done your research. It's a massive red flag for me. If you just charge per seat, you haven't done your research, you just try to launch quickly, which is a good thing, but not with the wrong price. So this one, I've used it for my 2 startups, and it worked so far, so good. It's a 5-step research process. The first one is to interview 20 prospects from your network. You all can find 20 people. So your mom doesn't count, right? The people that work for you before and want to be super nice and give an hour of their time, probably not super relevant. You want to find people using your network, find these people. You might not know them yet, but you leverage your network to find them. And these people, you want to basically then being leads. Like you should be in a position to say, based on what I have in the back of my head, and I think I got it, I will sell 15 of these people should be buying. Otherwise, I'm wrong somewhere. So if they should be like prospect, targets, leads, whatever you want to call them, and not here to please you, but here to give you feedback. And a good way for that, very, very early, it's to use the magic word why. When you interview someone, not for a job interview, but for a product research, using the word why works extremely well. It's very simple, but very few people actually use that strategy. Someone say, I got a problem, and you say, why, and you just ask the word why. It means you're not going to be with your bias talking over them, and founders usually have very dominant kind of mind character and things like that. You're not going to be talking above them, over them, try to dominate the conversation and influence them into what you think is your great idea, they're gonna come and you're gonna like unplug or unpeel the onions. And at the core, very often B2B SaaS can fix problem where people spend a lot of time. So there's somewhere in the organization, one person that sucks and hates his life and has a very, very boring job and leave very often, and they have a lot of rotation, and that's a problem you can identify. So asking the why again just gets into the depths of the conversation, and from this conversation create a list of educated pain points. Now the educated pain point, it's important to understand that it's not at all has to be related to your idea. So if you're a marketplace for plumber, they might have a lot of problem to find customer, and then they do the job, they love the job, they love to be plumber, it's easy, but then they need to send the invoice and it takes 60 days to collect the money. So they have two problems, and maybe your idea is about invoice or maybe your idea is about leads. But there are two really good pain that this plumber have, they are your potential customer. So you ask them to rank this pain point from 1 to 10. So it's a 9 out of 10 for me to find leads because I'm a plumber. I have no idea how the yellow page works. I don't know the Google marketing. I have no idea. Or it's really painful because I don't know how I can influence my customer to pay within 60 days. And then you rank your own, that you do the number for yourself, your own product or the one you have in mind. How good are you to solve that problem? So if you're doing an invoicing platform, or financial, some sort of payment platform, you'll be a 10 out of 10 probably to solve that problem. If you pay the invoice on behalf of the customer, for example, you'll be a 10 out of 10. You're not gonna help them to get leads, so you're 0 out of 10. And you use, obviously, after that, you use the average, a weighted average. So if it's a massive pain point and you're very, very good at solving it, that will be a high score. And this is a very simple method, but I can give you a little insight from Budgetly. So my new startup is a fintech, corporate expense management, and we thought that the biggest pain point was to give cards in the hand of people. And this is the value, but the pain point is actually to chase receipt. Like take all the staff, chase receipts, and the admin person that is making the decision to buy a product and pay every month is really tired to chase receipt. And when you ask why, that the one thing, say, will you pay $200 for that? Absolutely yes. And that was really very, very, that was not my initial idea, was we'll do all of that, including helping them to chase receipt, and they can take the employees can take a photo of the receipt. But that was so obvious that on our web page now, on our homepage, that's all we talk about. And we do 100 things, but this is like receipt, and it works. So we've nailed that one. Yeah, then you need to quantify the value. So again, I'm not going to talk about Budgetly too much, but for the plumbing platform, for example, if you help them to have cash as soon as they finish the job rather than 60 days later, maybe that means they can hire someone faster, or they can, whatever that might be. Or they save 3 hours a week or 3 hours a month to chase customers over the phone. Hey, you haven't paid me. Very, very often in B2B SaaS, time is money, so it's fairly easy to quantify. You ask them how many hours, and hours is that much, and this is how you quantify the value, and you can apply that. That one I've never really read anything about it. It's I guess my experience, but you apply 10x. So if someone say, or you divide by 10. If someone say, it costs me $5,000 per month to do that task that you're gonna automate, what do you say, $5,000? $500, will you be willing to pay $500? And it's usually about right. There's, more fine tuning you can do, but if you launch with 10x, you'd be, I'll pay you $500 to automate something that you explain me is actually at the end reliable, cost me $5,000 a month. And yeah, with these two things you can launch. The third part is much easier because you're going to have customer later. And when you have customer and you already have your MVP and you already have a basic pricing points, but you have 100 customers, you can do a survey. So this one, we've done it just recently at Budgetly with 600 customers now, and it's a product fit research. It's basically helping you to find the second value for your customers. So I'll let you read this one, and we can move on. SaaS platform being new. It's also, again, it's asking questions. It's open fields question. It's not 1 to 10 or anything like that. Cool. Optic. So Optic is it's a funny one. So it's sorry, my minute of glory. I can't remember exactly, but probably in 2008. A year or two after launching ResD, 2008, 2009, whatever, I bought the first edition of this book, Don't Make Me Think, by Steve Krug, and I used it to design the ResD homepage. And the website, the book was saying, don't have a welcome page on your website, welcome to my website, please enter here. If you've been on internet in the 90s, you remember that one. They say just put your value proposition straight away. So we're talking, very early days of web design. And B2B SaaS had no WordPress template where you can buy for $10 and things like that. So we had to create one, and I did it. And I tweet to that guy, so thanks, that really helped me, and thank you very much. And little did I know he was in the process of rewriting his book in a modern version. So ResD is featured in the book, and I'm very I'll let you. Everybody has 1 minute of fame in his life. Apparently, that was mine. Cool. So here is the pricing Optic. This one is just a lightweight, fun. It's all the stuff of idea that I've found online and used or not over the years and things like that. Ads pricing, the famous from $9.99. All of you are very smart. You know that when it says $9.99, you're not gonna be paying $9.99. But you all click on it. And the job of the ads is not to get you to convert, it's to get you to the landing page. And that's where you might see a different price or whatever. But so these things actually work, annoying as they are. Pricing page, it's something very underrated. Many co-founders I spoke with have seen the same thing. The pricing page is the second most visited page on the website. So it actually does take, I guess this is the point of this entire slide, but it is a good idea to go pretty quickly to create a pricing page. Because when your customers are at the bottom of the funnel, so they understand the problem, they like you, they compare you and a competitor, they will want to go to a pricing page. So having a basic pricing page, it's a very good time investment, and you can use all this trick. Pricing detail page as well later on. The fine printing, nobody likes fine printing, but it works. Transparency is completely overrated in my opinion. It's nice to be transparent, but nice is not why you do a business, right? Having revenue is a better idea than being nice. So being transparent can work very well in certain things, but pricing transparent pricing, you need to have a genuine reason to be completely transparent about your pricing. Is that absolutely, if there's a bad player in the market that are absolutely not transparent and they lose, you can win customer for being more transparent, that's good. Being 100% transparent, I don't think it's completely necessary. Even though I'm in fintech and we have by law have to be completely transparent, but this is in the fine printing, right? Pricing calculator. We spoke about dynamic pricing earlier. That could be a very, very useful online tool, and you might use that to generate leads as well with a little subscribe button and put your email to get your customized pricing and things like that. Multiple choice. I need to accelerate. This is gonna take much longer than I thought. Multiple choice. I'll let you read the $9.99. Obviously, we all hate it, but it is working. And you've seen I play a little trick on you. I pre-selected one, and I can tell you all your eyes have been reading this one because you can't really fight 6 million years of evolution. That's what it is. So free trial, money back guarantee. I got 100 ideas like that. It's so super fun. I enjoy that. Implementation, that's not fun at all. So implementation, it is important to think about the implementation when you are in the process of setting your price strategy. Obviously, you understand from the value conversation that I don't have like this is the price you should your research, right? So based on the type of price you're gonna come up with. One of the critical things will be to understand if you want to be product-led or sales-led. That's a decision you want to make very early because that's going to impact your pricing. That's going to impact all your unit economic. We're going to cover that. And it will very heavily impact your implementation and your onboarding. So how do you implement billing? If you price per unit or per seat or per usage or per bandwidth, gigabyte of bandwidth or whatever, all of that need to be in a billing software of some sort. There is a user management. If you have a plan for user standard plan, your premium plan, your super mega great advanced enterprise plan, you need the role and the permission in the platform. And this is something that is hard to do. And this is something that is good for your pricing, but doesn't really deliver value to the customers. Like the feature deliver value. Having a user management to tell if customer A paid less, it does not have value or not. It's just engineering time. So some platforms decide to have like all users have all the features, and they have because this is not where the value is. Pricing calculator, it takes some implementation. Internal insight. If you have a very complex pricing model. Or advanced pricing model, it might take a lot of engineering to really build your data lake and start to look at and understand the pricing, how you charge and the opportunity within your customer base. Invoice readability, it's a very underrated one. When your customer receives an invoice that is 3 pages long, they might pick up the phone and talk to you. So you might consider if you want that or not. So yeah, it's important to think product-led or sales-led. Can you think about anything else here in the implementation? One? No? Okay. Onboarding. So again, if you can think about anything, let me know. But yeah, onboarding, it's a massive topic on its own. But your pricing will impact the type of onboarding that you get. So if you're thinking, you're product-led, you self-sign up, you don't have a paywall, people can get in and use it for free trial for 30 days and so on. That's a completely different implementation, which is what I do. If you are sales-driven and you have a paywall, and if you don't talk to the sales team, you cannot even try the product. We don't provide product demo. We call that a demo. They can book a demo with the sales team, and they see everything except the product. We pitch them, we explain how we deliver value, we explain the problem, we do discovery and stuff like that. So it's a very different sales process, and then the onboarding. So you're an onboarding specialist. That will have a massive impact of your cost of acquisition. If you have one person, they need to spend an hour or 12 hours with the customer to get them to the value point. All of that, obviously, implementation is key, but onboarding is to get them to the value. And the proof, there's no such thing as love, there's only proof of love. So you can tell them everything you want with the value until they've seen the value themselves, which is at the end of your onboarding. They're not a customer already, even if they're paying. Yeah, you can, onboarding, you can give them one value item, so whatever the value items are. In budget leads, obviously, if you're looking at our pricing page, a value is a card. Even though the receipt, chasing receipt, etc., and automation and reconciliation and GST extraction, etc., add a lot of value. People want a card. So if they have one card in the end of their employee, they see value, so we charge them $10 per month for the pleasure. If they have 10 employees with 10 cards, accountants are free. because this is a user persona that they don't see value. They just need access to the platform to synchronize with Xero. So we're not charging per user. So that's an example. We give them a card for free, including in the plan. So they can really, really quickly go and play with it and see the values. Oh, that's great. I could use it to get a photo of my coffee, synchronize. I love it. I'm going to give it to 30 employees now. So, as part of the onboarding, one free item is an idea. You can pay your clients. You can literally pay your clients to onboard faster, if that makes sense for you. Or you can charge for onboarding. and I'll touch a bit about that. Having customer with skin in the game is a good idea, and skin in the game often mean money.
So I have a question about global markets.
Yeah.
Do you price differently in different countries?
You need to do your research, that will
so you need to do research in those individual countries, and those would be part of the...
Yeah, so Resi is in 100 plus countries, but the big one that we semi-succeed in penetrating was the US.
Yeah.
So we were leader in Australia, New Zealand, but number 3 in the US, let's call it like that. Yeah. And the pricing was completely different in the US. Fixed transactional in the US.
And your costs would be different as well.
Cost is different, but the margin are amazing anyway. But the go-to-market, it's actually in hindsight, the biggest problem we had to go to the US was to go too early. We should have waited and do a lot more study and have the right price for the market. So we started with the same price as Australia, and we get customers, but we are making significantly less money than another competitor, and they grow faster because
they still have to do the research in.
Yeah, absolutely, but the main reason, and if we're talking like Western countries, the main reason will be in some countries like the US, there might be somewhere else in the curve of adoption of technology. You have your innovator, early adopters, late majority laggers. They might already be there where you're here in Australia, and that's exactly what happened in the US actually. So we had zero education to do, but people were willing to pay 0 per month, but a commission on every booking that they receive. Where ResD in Australia, I would say we don't take commission, don't worry, we don't take a earning of your revenue, it's a flat subscription. And it worked well for COVID, because we maintain the subscription, where our US entity revenue went down. Anyway, so there's pros and cons. Sensitivity and elasticity. Okay, so this one I basically invented nothing. That thing that existed before I was born. There's two well-known, extremely well-documented framework or survey you can do. This one is probably the most advanced one. As a matter of fact, I haven't done it with my new startup, and we probably reach a point where we should. So the OPP is the optimal price point. So that's what you want to find. And you can ask this 4 questions to customers or leads. And give you a range, basically. It's very efficient, it's been proven for decades. The second one, it's probably a much better one to issue very early and getting started, because it's so easy to do. You just say, hey, will you pay $20 for that? And usually as a founder, and again, I've made that mistake at Resdi, I started Resdi at $19 per month. And now I can't disclose because I'm under restraint of this, but it's much more than 20 times that revenue per customer. So if you use this method at the end of your research, you understand the value, you have a pricing, your 20 customer, not your grandmother, your 20 people that you really try to get 15 of them to be your first customer. If you think you'll be happy at $50, ask them if they pay $300 for it. Because if you have one that says yes, you don't need 6 customers at 50. You have one at 300. You have the same revenue, 1 customer, much easier, much better business. So you might just be surprised, and it will completely change your go-to-market timing, basically. So you understand the logic, obviously. A lot of people are willing to pay very little for a product, and a few of them are willing to pay a lot. but there is a point where it's your sweet spot. Cool. Okay, 25 minutes. We're doing okay. Unit economics. So now this is a bit more in-depth, data-driven. Just to gauge a little bit the audience, I guess, this is the definition that we're going to be using. Put your thumbs up if you have a very good understanding of that, and thumbs down if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. We got 2-3 thumbs down. That's not too bad. I might give you a minute to read then. The one that matters the most are there is, roughly speaking, 2 or 3 types of revenue. The one that are recurring, we love recurring revenue, and the one that one-off. You earn $10, the next month you don't get that $10 again. Recurring, it's $10 every month, and if they renew, that is the beauty and the power of you don't have to watch only this RESD page, and you can just look at the book. This is a 15 years old homepage, probably not great anymore. Okay, and there's different annualized. It's a bit confusing sometimes. So annual recurring revenue, it's how much recurring money you make in a year, and then you have your total revenue, which includes the one-off, and it will be relevant for later. And the customer acquisition cost, CAC, cost of acquisition, that's an important one for the rest of the conversation. And I hope everybody understands margin. Okay, so which one of these KPIs, because I've seen a lot of thumbs up, do you think impact the cash flow? I'm gonna need to hear something.
Annual revenue?
Kinda, you close, yeah. So revenue, MRR, revenue is good, right? But it's not really the cash flow. The cash flow is the cash that comes in. So you can charge $100,000 to your first customer, amazing, they'll pay you in 12 months. Not good cash flow, right? But the answer is relevant because you say annual. So the annual billing is what directly impact the cash flow. So it's basically in your pricing to impact your cash flow. The most important things to do, it's prepayment. And it's very common in software, you pay at the beginning of the month, and then you have 30 days to use if you're on a monthly. If you're on annual, it's 12 months. So you get that money, say $100 a month, you get $1,200 upfront. That's good cash flow. So that's the most impactful, but there's also some subtlety, a second answer to that question, which is it's the ratio between some of these metrics and how they work together that will improve the cash flow. And we're gonna cover that now. Why does cash flow matter? So we all know, you all heard that, cash is king, business don't fail, they run out of money, of course. But it's also the second worst thing is not to go bankrupt and break down your business. The second worst thing is to go to your investor and say, well, I need a couple of million. We have a great business, everything is great, but I need a couple of million because that's gonna be a very, very expensive delusion. Been there. Thanks to COVID. Having a very good pricing that bring cash up front, it's the cheapest way you can grow your business or fund your growth. And we are definitely doing that at Budgetly. We haven't fundraised so far. Okay, so these 5 key metrics are my feedback from a few years of experience. Instead of annual contract value, or the first question that a new investor, prospect investor will ask you is what's your annual revenue? They want to know that because they might just want businesses that are doing $5 million revenue that they mandate. They want like $5 million annual revenue. So they ask that upfront to know if you're at the right timing for them. Or they might want business that are not doing more than 2 million of revenue because they want to get in very, very early and they're very comfortable with that, but they want to buy cheap. That's not super relevant for you. It's a vanity number, already your annual revenue. It's not when you sell, but when you grow it is. what's much more powerful, it's your percentage of annualized revenue or paid upfront for 12 months. So the billing is annual, as I mentioned earlier. So yeah, getting 1,200 today, if you have 10 customers that pay annual, you can have one full-time developer. Much cheaper than raising 180K, right? Or 150 or whatever. So a healthy number is having more than 40% of annual revenue, and it's also will make your business significantly more stable. Businesses, your clients don't have to think every month about renewing, even if the billing will be automated, obviously, but there is a decision to be made somehow, somewhere, every month, every 3 months. If it's 12 months, they need to make the decision once a year to renew. So that's also will reduce your churn. And it will protect your business from a small competitor that think cheap is a good strategy and will get you from under, which are annoying, and then this competitor dies 3 years later, but it just slows you down. Okay, quick ratio is a famous one for investor. Quick ratio is for every $1 you lose in your existing customer base, or no, per month, sorry, how many dollars do you generate? So if you lose $1 of churn and downgrade, but make $4 of new business and $1 of upgrade a month, it's a healthy business actually. That's why, churn, again, everybody talk about churn. Churn kills business. Yes, it does, but if you don't understand it, if you understand that you got the wrong customer, they were too small, and they're the customer that only want to pay you $19 where you really have a business at $200 per month, then it's good churn. Well done. If your customers go out of business, yeah, it's probably not your fault, and it will happen. So this is a natural churn, non-regrettable churn, natural churn. So churn is a little bit meaningless. If you want a good pricing strategy, you want to understand the quick ratio, and that you have room within your pricing to grow the revenue per customer, right? Upgrades, basically. And the net monthly recurring revenue will be, you have not, so yeah, you have basically $100 of new revenue, you have $20 of upgrade, that's $120, and you have $10 of downgrade and $10 of churn, you have $100 of net new revenue. It's great, you're doing well. And then the next one is something I'm using, well, all of them, but the next one is absolutely critical to understand how you can grow your existing customer base and ignore churn. It's all the customer. You had 100 customers in January, they pay you $100 each. After 12 months, if you only have 80 customers left, you might go, oh, I got like customer number, I got customer churn, I had 20% customer churn. And every VC will be, ooh, bad business. But if the 80 customers remaining are giving you $250 each, I can't remember which number I say, but you get the logic, then your cohort of the January cohort of the customer that you acquired in January is extremely healthy, right? So we set a target at Budgetly at 140, and we pretty much across every cohort we're smashing it. So when my staff are a bit stressed about churn, I'm the one actually say, yeah, I'm not worried about it. Like upgrade these 3 guys. And this is creating like obviously you start to create very healthy monthly cohort, very healthy quarterly cohort, and you have a good year of cohort, and this is growing and growing and growing. Okay, the next one, again, if you fundraise 5 million, it's gonna be silly. But the VC might say, oh, but now that you have money, you need to optimize your cost of acquisition, right? You can't spend $1,000 to acquire a customer anymore. You're going to do that at scale, so it has to be 500. Well, maybe not, because you can be smarter than that. So if you increase the lifetime customer value, what really matters is the ratio between the lifetime customer value and the CAC. And again, it is pricing is not so much about acquiring and cost of acquisition, but it's definitely going to impact your lifetime value. So in other words, to try to simplify that, if it costs you $1,000 to acquire a customer that will give you $10 per month over many years, say $1,000, and it costs you $100 to acquire, it's a good business. Not $10 per month, sorry, my math are pretty bad, but if you have a customer that costs you $5,000 to acquire and give you $1,000 a month, you got a fantastic business. If it's a customer that costs you $20 to acquire but give you $1 a month, it's not such a good business, right? So this is the lifetime per CAC, and it's important to understand your lifetime value and how pricing can improve that, because you start at $100 per month, and you have, that's the next slide, but you have not a lot of tools to upgrade them. So for the next 3 years, you're going to have $100 per month customers, and then you need to control your CAC. You need to reduce your CAC to have a growth engine, right? If you know that this $100 per customer can very easily become a $300, well, keep having $1,000 CAC. It's completely fine. And that's come down to the payback period. So that I think what I just explained, basically 12 months is an industry standard almost. If you have 12 months to recover the cost to acquire a customer, you're doing okay. 10 months, you're doing great. If it's 6 months, give me a call. Cool. So growth engine, I'm on time, I'm happy with that. All right, so I'll let you read that. This is things you can do to build a very good, well-diversified pricing strategy. Upfront fee is a setup cost, for example, an onboarding fee, something like that. Usually it's a one-off, it's not recurring. And let's say your customer pay you $200 per month. We say, oh, but it's $100. Every company to be in the platform, it's $100 one-off. And for that, we give you an onboarding specialist. And it's unlimited training. You know, after 30 minutes, they will be fine, but it's unlimited, right? Unlimited personalized training. That $99 will reduce your cost of acquisition. So if your cost of acquisition is $1,000 to pay Google advertisement, your sales team, blah, 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 and you charge your customer $99 one-off, and you provide them value for that $99, like personalized training, like just for you guys. We don't do that just for you. You basically reduce your CAC by 10%. Your growth engine is already 10% more powerful. Like you're gonna grow 10% faster, literally. So that's something that we usually are very skeptical to do, because I'm already signed them up for $200 a month. So I'm not gonna ask them to pay $100 one-off. But the fact is, your customer will be very happy to pay $100 because you already sold them, they already understand, they want to do it, and they have skin in the game, so they will onboard faster, they will take initiative, they will act, someone will be responsible for it internally, and so on. And if you do your math, if you have, which is what I've experienced, if you have 3 account executives, that gets, say, 130 customer, $100 each of onboarding, that's $9,000. He pays for 1 onboarding specialist. So 3 sales reps that are selling 30 licenses, getting 30 customers per month, and charge them $100 onboarding, that pays for this onboarding specialist. So you have a free staff, basically, that really gonna help customer to go live faster. And obviously, when they live, you should be seeing more revenue as well. Your plan, so that's one. Next level up the plan. So having a flat plan is really good for rainy days. I mentioned Resi. It's no secret with COVID, having a booking software is a little bit challenging in tourism. So the revenue went down significantly, but we had the base plan. So even if we make transaction on every booking, the base plan killed a few competitors and not us. So it's you pay to access the platform. Value unit, so that's the big one, right? We spoke about this one. Whatever the value is, this is where you can absolutely milk it, because if you got that right, people will want to pay to have that value a lot. So their willingness to pay is very high, and this is where you can go extremely hard on optimization and web page design. It's all about the value. So for us, yeah. Anyway, cool. Usage fee. Usage fee is a very good way to increase your revenue, but for something, and it will be different for everyone, that are not directly related to the core value that you deliver. I can give you the example of Budgetly. For example, if you pay a bill, it'll be $2, but the card is $10, and our customer want the card very much, so they pay that. Oh, and as well, we can do that, and it's $2 per unit, doesn't matter. At the end, it accumulates, and this is good margin for us. Ad hoc fee are another thing that are very healthy because they protect your margin. So again, in Budgetly, it's an easy example. When we send physical plastic cards, we need to put that in an envelope and send them to them. We don't make margin on that, but it will impact our margin if we were to absorb it, right? So if it's an express, I think it's $7 or $8 plus handling, blah, blah, blah. We just charge the customer. The customer don't mind. They order a card. They're completely fine to pay the envelope and the postage fee, right? They don't even think about it. We were very scared to do it at the beginning, but it's a $10 per month card. So if we were to spend $8 to deliver that card, we already lost almost 10% of, or let's say 6-7% of annual revenue for this one product, which is the value we deliver. So we just pass this through. And it works, it protects our margin. And a rebate. So the rebate is will be very different for every business, but you charge your customer, but maybe you can charge someone on the other hand. Visa, it's no secret, they pay banks because every time you swipe your Visa card, the merchant that accept the money pay, let's call it 1% in Australia to oversimplify. And the bank get a little rebate on that. So there is a revenue model for every card issuer to get some revenue. It's not enough to make a business, but it starts to look pretty nice. So think about like, where can I make money? Usually rebates are based on volume, or if you're trying to get leads to a bank for loans, home loans, for example, you can negotiate with them for some KPIs and things like that. So when you reach, $10 million, instead of going that rebate, you get a different rebate and so on. Cool. So phase one, I put phase 1 to 5 to wrap up the talk. Phase 1, implementation is hard, right? So you start with a basic plan at $50. I would recommend to charge upfront fees straight away and do the onboarding yourself. And then your value metric, whatever the value metric is, the basic plan, $50 per month. If anyone in B2B SaaS is not willing to give you $50 a month, just hang up. Just thank you. This is not for you. Don't sell anything for less than $100, and this is not even a business at $100 a month per company. If you are sales-led, it's $250. It's a starting point. If you are product-led, it's different. Canva, B2B, we can talk about that, but this is the exception, not the rule. So you have a one-off fee. Your revenue now per customer is $99 one-off and $150 MRR. And then you introduce a premium plan. So having 2 plans is good. People like to have choice. So they don't want to think, don't make me think, but a little bit of choice is good when it's clear and the value is well presented and they get more value for the more expensive plan. So introduce a second plan. One price is two price is better than one. 2 pricing is better than 1, but 1 is better than 0. So just start with something basically. Phase 3. So now you're doing 250 MRR. Phase 3. You start to target better customer. You deliver more value for them. So the value unit your revenue from delivering that value goes up. Now you can start to, it's a bit painful to implement, like the envelope, for example. We need to know exactly which type of envelope it is, how much it costs us, and then to charge, and then it appears on the invoice. The invoice is a bit more complicated. It takes some implementation. So we obviously didn't start up the business with that. But then we start, after a little while, you start to put there, and this is $30. It's a one-off. Ad hoc fee are usually one-off. We don't consider that recurring revenue. If they don't order more card, we don't see that revenue. But it's nice for the margin. Then now we get 10 million a month, say, through Budgetly platform, so we get a bit of a rebate, and it starts to be, oh, I like this 10% of our revenue come from this rebate. So now, as you grow phase 4 and the final phase, which is phase 5, you can start thinking about, well, actually, the foundation of my pricing is great, my customer upgrade, and they start at 100. Now I'm gonna start to think about this big picture volume pricing. And then you can have an enterprise plan, which is not my recommendation for the early stage. It's a lot easier to sell to hundreds of customers for $200 a month than to one customer for 2 million. And you guessed it, it's with this pricing, when it's well done, it's exponential. So these are the phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with implementing different strategy in your pricing. And at the beginning it's simple, at the end it's much more complicated. But done well, it will allow you to grow your customer base, and with many levers, I guess is the key word here, many levers. It's not only a seat. Oh, you hire a new sales rep, great, now you need one more seat. You have zero leverage on that. You need to create your own leverage by doing this kind of stuff. All right, to wrap up, I'm perfectly on time. The source, so these guys are absolute legends. A lot of the thing I talk about today came also from them. Profit well, they got acquired by Paddle. Now they do everything for you, but most importantly, they have a fantastic blog, videos, and things like that. It'll take you 3 years to read everything. And they have a good tool, reporting, a dashboard tool that plugs directly to your billing software, being Stripe billing or Chargeify, ChargeBee, whatever, and give you out of the box, free of charge, great dashboard for your billing. And they do consulting as well, but if you are doing a 20+ million a year, I guess. Cool, so the takeaway, there's only one takeaway, price is value, and you need to understand the value for your customer. Thank you very much. So, do you have questions? It's 11, so it's midday, so no question?
When you're moving customers to upgrade them, do you do that manually via phone calls, or you've got like automated systems in place to prompt upgrades?
Yeah, so we have an account management team. One thing I might not have covered is like when you start to have multiple plans, one of the key of having 2 plans is that your account management team, instead of being customer success, onboarding, make the customer happy, and remember happiness, we don't care, but the retention, it's revenue generating team, and it changes everything. It's much easier to manage them. You will hire different account manager because you basically hire salespeople, and they are the way to motivate and to reward them, or the commission structure can be aligned to the revenue they generate, and it's a sales team basically, rather than a team for helping customer success, which is important, but making them very motivated by generating more revenue for you, it's very powerful. So yeah, 2 plans, more value as well. So for example, at Budgetly, they usually, if a customer has 5 departments with 10 employees per department, they usually start with 1. And the account manager say, okay, now you're happy with this one, let's get 30 more people into it, and it's 30 cars basically. So it's not, the feature set that you have is great, but you don't need more features, you don't need to go to the premium plan. But there's the other 30 people in your company, like how about you know, so the conversation that you have with the customers is basically, at the end, there's a revenue target in every conversation. And the next one is also annual billing. So we're doing, before Christmas, we're doing our second annual billing campaign, and we think we're gonna go from 44 to 50% of customer paying annually, and happy days at 50%, yeah. So, yeah. Okay, sorry, you were first.
With the onboarding calls, is there an intense amount of work to kind of workshop those and get them to a level that you're happy with?
So onboarding, my two startup, I did it as a founder. I did it first 40, 50 customers. Actually, Resi, I think I onboarded myself the first 200 customers, because it's the most important job in my point of view for a founder. You can hire salespeople when you understand the value and you understand the sales pitch and you have the discovery call, there is tools. But the onboarding, you have no idea until 50 customers. You have no idea if it will work and the feedback that you get from trying to onboard customer. So yes, it's hard, and as a founder, twice I hired salespeople, keep doing onboarding. Then when I'm confident and I got a script and I got a milestone for the onboarding, like they are live, but they need to. Budgetly, they need to deposit money on the Budgetly account. They need to order card. They need to get the card delivered and activated. Then they need to have a budget within Budgetly, so this employee knows he can spend $100. Then they go and they spend. So all of this, you write down the process, and then you can hire someone and train them and scale.
As the pricing is evolving during time, like, do the first customer remain with the same pricing?
No, price review every year. One of the most important things to do is to update your price every year. Yeah, sorry, I missed that, but absolutely, you change your price every year. Yeah, and you tell them 4 weeks in advance, and this is the way, and you'll be like, not once I changed the price and we had a bad news. Every time we go, like, oh my God, we're gonna increase the price this year by 30%. It's crazy. We're gonna lose so many customers. You lose 5 customers. You make 30%, like you lose 0.2% of your customers that are not the best anyway, and that are not willing to pay more, that don't see value, or maybe you don't deliver value to them specifically or whatever, and you make 30% more for your entire company. So yeah, price increase every year, like with an account management team, boom, 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 every year.
One of the hardest things that I have in my journey, it was getting the right price to onboarding people.
Yeah.
So we have a e-commerce specialized for pharmacies.
Okay.
And I'm a pharmacy myself, and I own pharmacies.
Uh-huh.
So the first thing it was I created for myself. I know that work, but then it was trying to structure the price for pharmacy to understand the value of what we're doing for them.
Okay.
So what we're doing at the moment is like we're using the 10-10-10 rules. Like we're getting like a certain amount of customers, and we're offering a 66% discount for the onboarding fee.
Okay.
Just for the one setup fee.
Okay.
But then my challenge is now, okay, so if I got 10 customers, my idea in my mind is, okay, I got a good result. I can increase my price now to maybe 30% off of the onboarding price.
Like there's no magic answer, but my personally B2B SaaS philosophy, e-commerce is different, by the way, so it's probably not the right answer, but that's just what I know. I don't see the onboarding as a revenue. I think that as a way to offset the cost of getting the customer in the first place, and contract the way it gets to the customer to go through the milestone to be a customer we can talk to every 3 months. Yeah, because you need a pharmacy. Like every customer, they're busy. They don't have time. You need them to act, and the person that need to do the job might not be the person that you sold to, etc., etc. So an onboarding specialist is good for that. Price-wise, it's probably not a very good business if you rely too much on onboarding because it's one-off.
We do subscription as well.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. Yeah.
Every month.
So. You can do elasticity. You can try. You say you talk to all your next customer and say, hey, how about I charge you $5,000 for that onboarding? And they say, you crazy? Or they might say, yeah, sure, but you do everything for me. Or say, no, it's too much. $3,000? Sure. Yeah, trial and error.
That's the hardest part, trying to adjust the right.
Yeah, but like, be bully about it because they can't tell you no. It's easy for them to, they are the customer, they can say no, they're not shy.
So what I did at the moment, my onboarding price is lower than the competition. Our onboarding price is high, but we're doing a special discount for first 10 customers. But my subscription price is higher than the competition.
Okay.
Because we do more things that they do, you know. So
Look, if you first thought like that, it's I don't think your customer will see value in having a discounted onboarding. It doesn't seem obvious that why is it discounted onboarding? Is it a worth onboarding? Why is it cheaper? The onboarding is cheaper. If you want to be premium because your product is premium, have a premium onboarding. Have a great dedicated onboarder and charge twice what the competitor charge for onboarding. Is something to consider.
it's just sometimes scary, you know.
Yeah, it is. It is. In particular, if it's your first 10 customers. Yeah, but ask them. There's a reason why they come to you in the first place, and they might love your brand. They might like you personally.
So what I've been doing, I say, go to check all the competitors, and then come back and talk to me. And this is what I'm getting some good results.
We do that all the time. When a customer is not sure, say, well, we recommend you to talk to this competitor because we know they don't even answer the phone.
Exactly.
Any other questions?
One quick one. Just leading on from that fear thing, how do you pitch to a customer that's paying like a big amount per year? Let's say they're paying 150 grand to pay that upfront. Like
150,000, I've never done it. No, not really. So I don't know.
There's a simple answer to that one. Like a lot of software, particularly mid-market enterprise software companies, they'll have maybe, Simon mentioned 40% of revenue coming from, upfront.
Yeah.
A Salesforce, companies like that will have 60, 70% coming from upfront. But the answer is, how can they afford to do it? You typically offer a significant discount.
That's what I was going to say.
for the annualized fee. Yeah, so like if a lot of companies work on the model of essentially a 10% discount, 10 to 15% discount for an annualized contract, and maybe even another 5% if it's prepaid.
Yeah.
And it's also a good, it's a new trend you've probably seen now on the optics, which I'm passionate about. Like $40 per month paid annually. If you want to pay monthly, it's more expensive. So the new norm now, it's exactly for that reason, because everybody discount if you pay annually 10-15%, and it hurts. It really hurts your revenue. So now the new norm is the price is paid annually, and the psychology behind it, if you want to pay monthly, it's up to you, but you get penalized a little.
Yeah. Is it like a deal breaker for investors though? If you've got 0% upfront payments coming in?
Every investor have a different idea, but the recurring revenue, it's a much better model to have the money upfront than 12 months later or months by months.
So it's better to have it upfront than monthly basis.
The sooner you get the cash in the bank, the better it is.
Okay, that's good.
That's it.
Anything else for Simon?
Just a quick one. Just in terms of customer acquisition costs, how do you, particularly at that startup phase, how are you monitoring what that cost is, and how are you then putting in strategies to reduce that cost? And I guess at what point do you go, we're not getting this right?
B2B SaaS? Yeah. Okay, so collect data. So if you have a Google, $10,000 per month Google spend, $10,000 on Facebook, whatever your channels are, an agency that cost, total cost divided by the number of new customers you get for that month, plus the people that are, we call that new business, as opposed to existing business. Existing business are the account manager, new business are the sales rep or account executive. The wages for, if you are sales led, you need people to talk, to do the demos, to get the credit card, to get them signed up. Then you need the onboarder. Now onboarding is it's a trick of a trade. When you talk to a VC, you might or might not want to put your onboarding cost as part of the CAC. That's up to you. but I do actually. So for my own sanity. So the onboarding person is part of the acquisition. Then when they're live, it's different. So that's your CAC. And there is a sanity check by talking to VC. Actually, they will know that if your LTV is, and you can, LTV also is impacted by churn, so it's very hard to guess. But let's say if your ARPU, your average revenue per user per month, is $250, then having a $1,500 or $2,000 of CAC, yeah, you good. And it depends where you are in the market as well. Like if you're absolutely like nobody heard about your product and you think like the market is huge and you want to be the first, spend a lot of money to acquire a customer, even if you're not monetizing and if your LTV CAC ratio is more than is not good. Then you acquire, and then you can build more feature to monetize later. It depends where you are where the market is at, I guess. Yeah.
Simon, how do you calculate the lifetime value for the customer?
Yeah,
is that a guess or is it
no, it's a formula.
For specific industries?
No, it's a formula. On top of mind, it's basically, let's say, like the simple formula would be what they pay per month times 48. 48 because I think 48 months is like as if you have X% of churn, which is a high churn but not unheard of in early stage. So you would expect that they will at least stay 4 years with you. And that's the money that they will spend in their lifetime with you.
That's 2% churn, what you just said.
2% churn, okay, yeah, 2% churn is fine, really. I mean, it's one is better, but we spoke about that. If it's 2% of customer or logo churn, and they are the one that don't pay you and don't promote you, and that doesn't matter. Yeah.